Time now for another edition of Meet the Cardinals, the opportunity we have to talk to some of the Cardinal players to find out a little bit more both about them both on and off the court. And joining us is Seth Christiaens, 6'11", sophomore from Billings, Montana. And I think we had to lower the floor to get you in here. How you doing, big fella?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I wanted to talk to you, especially coming off that big contested double-double and the 4 blocks that you had against Spokane. Talk a little bit about that game. You had to come in a little bit earlier because Jared, who was coming back off an injury, was in foul trouble. What's your mindset coming off the bench?
We just needed a spark, and I just kind of wanted to do what I could do, just get boards and try to get putbacks and stop on defense. Just get in the way of anybody coming into the key kind of stuff.
I mean, and you had a couple of putbacks just kind of tipping the ball. Is that basically when you do that, are you just trying to keep it alive? Or?
I mean, yeah, but also if I could see that I could tip it into the basket pretty easy, I'm just going to go for that too.
How about the blocks? I mean, I tried to get as many as I could into that highlight reel. Talk about that playing defense, and is it just timing underneath? How's that work?
Yeah, it's a lot of timing, and one of my problems is jumping sometimes, and so I just got to work on that a lot. And just kind of work on timing, not jumping too early, and it just works out sometimes.
All right, that's fantastic. And also, you're shooting very, very well, 61% from the field, 92% from beyond the arc, but unfortunately you haven't taken enough shots, both at the line and on the field, to qualify as some of the league leaders. Coming to NIC, how did that process go? Talk about going from high school and how you ended up here at NIC.
Well, I started out at MSU Northern, and it wasn't a good match for me, and so I wanted to transfer. I redshirted there and then played my freshman year, and after my freshman year I decided I wanted to go somewhere else, and I just heard a lot of good things about NIC, and so I looked up the program and hit up the coaches, and here I am.
Do you hear from other guys? Raekwon was from Billings. Did you know any of these players before coming to NIC?
I hadn't met Raekwon. I had seen him play a lot, but I hadn't met him in person before. Pretty much I hadn't met anybody until my visit here, so no, I didn't know anyone here.
All right, fantastic. Well, and I almost need like one of those selfie sticks that when you have a camera. This guy, look at it. Yeah. So now some of the fun stuff off the court. Now I have to ask you, everybody, are you a basketball player? What's the weather like up there? I know you've heard those a billion times. I want to know when you're growing up. Say when you're in kindergarten or in first grade, when did you notice or when did you start feeling that, man, I'm going to be tall?
Well, I never knew I was going to be like this tall, but I was always like head and shoulders above everyone else, and so I've just always kind of been tall. I just never imagined to get this far.
In 6th grade, how tall were you? Do you remember?
I was 6 foot in 6th grade.
And then like 8th grade, how tall were you going into high school?
Going into high school, I was 6'6" my freshman year, like 6'5" in the 8th grade.
Yeah. I can't 6'5". I can't even reach that high. Sport besides basketball that you'd like to give a whirl at, that even if you can't do it, what would it be?
Probably water polo. Probably be able to stand on the bottom of the pool when everyone else is treading water.
That's a good idea, man. That's kind of good. Winter Olympics, we've been talking about that with a lot of the guys and the gals. Any sport in the Winter Olympics that you like to give a whirl?
I'm not coordinated for any of that ice stuff. No, I couldn't be on skates or anything like that, or skis. I've tried skiing a couple times. It doesn't work out too good.
I would love to see 6'11" Seth Christiaens go off the ski jump.
Oh, I don't know about that. No.
The old agony of defeat, the thrill of victory. Okay, that's fine.
Pretty hard, I think.
All right. Of course, everybody gives you the Montana jokes. You ever ridden a horse?
Yeah, I've ridden a horse before.
You're pretty good at it, or?
I only rode one when I was really little with grandparents. So.
Ever bronked a bull?
No.
All right. Any other Montana things? Let's see. I'm trying to think. Can you cook?
I can cook pretty good if we're cooking like steak and potatoes, I guess. Nothing else. None of that salad stuff. No, that's animal food. All
right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go into a little bit more Montana stuff. You got a great big. You're camping in the woods. You got a big campfire. You have a beverage. You're 21, so I could say an adult beverage. You're sitting around the campfire. You could have anybody in the world around the campfire just to have a beer and shoot the breeze. Who would that person be?
Probably some old country singer like Johnny Cash around, something like that. some good old country boy or something.
Old country singer Johnny Cash. What would you ask him?
I don't know, just everything, like how he got where he was, how to be successful and stuff like that. Because I mean, success can be put into a lot of different ways. Just working hard. It's like you have to work hard at whatever you are to be successful in pretty much anything. So.
Fantastic. I mean, Johnny Cash. It just, you know, I always think about that. If you had a chance, who would you sit down and talk to? Favorite food that you could just slap together for lunch around the house if you go home, or whatever the case may be at the folks' house that you know there's going to be stuff to fix. I mean, if you go to a college dorm's refrigerator, you'd probably find 3-day-old pizza. But if putting something together, if you're going home, slapping together a lunch, what is it?
Steak whenever possible.
A steak.
Yeah, whenever possible.
Barbecue that thing?
Oh, on the grill, yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. After basketball, how long do you plan on playing basketball? Any future plans as it relates to career? I know you'll probably be playing basketball for a while, but what do you want to do?
I mean, you only have a small window in your life, and you can be like playing sports like this, and so I plan on riding out this basketball thing as long as I can, and then just going back home and doing whatever after that.
You haven't decided,
Well,
you don't want to be a brain surgeon, or?
no, I'm a criminal justice major, so I'm trying to be a game warden for Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. That's the main goal, doing that.
You like the outdoors?
Yeah, definitely.
Tell you what, I don't know if we could get you in law enforcement. I don't know if we can get a 6'11" guy in a cop car, but we could certainly get you on a horse or in a Jeep.
They'll have to give me one of the SUVs for sure.
Fantastic. Shout out time. Who you want to say hi to?
Mom, Dad, my brother Ben, sisters Sarah and Hannah.
All right, fantastic. Another edition of Meet the Cardinals. Right there. That's the big fella, Seth Christiaens. Hey, appreciate your time.
Yep, thank you.